younger generations. I don't want them to feel the way I felt whenever going through my college applications and having a dream school and not being able to attend that dream school just because it was out of pocket. Like, there was no way I could afford that. I forcefully had to leave the state after being here for 19 years. So I went to Delaware and was able to obtain a scholarship and study over there. But I left friends, family, network that I had created throughout my high school years. Like, whenever I was checking it, my friend had $5,000 that she had to pay. I had to pay over $15,000 to $20,000. I know like how stressful and like mental draining it is to have to go through that and know that you've worked so hard to achieve a goal, and because tuition is so high for, we count as out-of-state tuition, they won't be able to attend or pursue those dreams. So I want to be able to not just advocate for it, but also speak to people that can actually do a change and see their point of view in it too.
We are all here as a coalition to support tuition fairness. You might be asking, what is tuition fairness? Tuition fairness is the simple idea that all students in North Carolina deserve to pay the same rate as every other student. Tuition fairness is essentially everyone who is a resident of North Carolina should pay North Carolina tuition rates to go to college.
It means every student having the same access to education.
We're trying to advocate for this cause. We're trying to ensure that our bill, our tuition fairness bill, gets introduced and passed this week. And so we're all here to support and to gather more support. This passing of the bill will directly influence our students and allow them to have access to higher education, which in today's world should be a human right.
We talked a lot about why tuition fairness is so important to the students of North Carolina and really any state. And Senator Grafstein was very open to the idea of education not just being to get a job, but really to enrich students and have them reach their full potential. And I think that was a great thing to hear from someone who has the power to support our bill. I go to a high school with a very high population of undocumented students compared to other schools, and that's really just opened my eyes to how big of an obstacle this really is to so many students. I'm going through the college application process right now, and it's very rough, very expensive, and I know if I didn't have access to that in-state tuition, it would be really hard for me to go to school. So I want to have that same opportunity for every student.
Because of that, I want tuition fairness for all of my undocumented peers that go to high school with me, and I want them to have the same access to higher education.
I'm very passionate about education, and there's nothing quite like actually being able to make change and talk directly with the senators. Like, our tuition is high already, and the fact that some of these students have to pay 3 to 4 times as much, even though they've been like in the state of North Carolina just as long as I've been, is just completely unfair, and so that's why we're fighting for this issue.
I think Advocacy Day for me is about advocating for what I believe is right. And for me, tuition fairness is a personal topic since it has affected my family, it affected my sister. So to fight for something that I view as inequality, I think that's very important for me, right? Like my sister, I know my sister and I know how capable she is. So the fact that college might have been ruled out for her if she didn't, just because she didn't have a green card or a citizenship, I don't feel like that's correct. And I just feel like that emotionally, that affects you, because just not being seen as a resident by a state that you've lived here the majority of your life, that impacts you at an emotional level.
Education is just a topic that's, as a public school student, is really close to my heart. So it's really hard to see in a school with such a high population of students who are undocumented. It's hard to see how they don't have the same opportunities to have in-state tuition and therefore go to schools, seek higher education as the rest of us do when they work just as hard, if not harder.
I am actually an undocumented, well, I guess not a student anymore. I graduated from Meredith this past December. Although, I guess I'm out of that process, it is something I'm very passionate about. It's something I dealt with during my college process. I felt very lonely, I guess, and defeated. Some colleges, I remember that, I would get my admission letter and I was in, but they were like, we're giving you 1,000, and that was it. And so I had to pay like 20,000 out of pocket every year, for those schools. And all my other classmates were paying maybe like 1,000, 2,000. So it was just not possible for me to do that. And there were colleges I really wanted to get into to possibly go there, but I just couldn't do it. Not being even eligible for work study. Like, I want to work to be able to pay for it, but I can't do that. In my heart, it was something I should do. To help other people after me, and also the people before me that weren't able to go and didn't have the resources that maybe I was able to find.
And I learned a lot from it, because not only did it open my eyes that it's like, yes, at the end of the day, we just want the best for each other. And we might have opposing views on some things, but that doesn't mean we can't work together to get things done. So that was like a big message that I got from today.
They will be voting on it, so we did our job today.